Ready? All right, we're 5:30, call the meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So we're here to review the collective bargaining agreement. I'll turn it over to Mr. Castle.
Yes, so the Teacher Association, Dr. Stevens and I and Darla Kane have met on several occasions, 7 in the morning, three mornings, I think, to discuss terms of the collective bargaining agreement. And I'm going to review all the changes. Most of them are just technical, like date changes, things like that, but I'll go through them and give you the page number so we can go through it. So the first thing is on the very first page, you notice just it's for the 24-25 school year, so it's the current school year that we're in. On page 6, flip to page 6. We added in some bereavement language to make sure we were including miscarriages or stillbirth. And we have granted those. We just kind of wanted to codify that in some language. And then on page 9, we just switched insurance. And so we really just took out some excessive language. The board currently contributes 70% for all insurance plans, 70% of the total premium cost. So we took out rates and just made it more broad because of the change. On page 10 is kind of a continuation of that. Just language about if they take the high deductible plan, we do contribute to an HSA, and just took out a lot of the language and said that contributions would be made quarterly, which is different than what our current practice had been, which was 50% in January and then the rest paid out over 10 months. So we're going to do it quarterly, 4 times a year. We'll put into that HSA. So that you see the strikeout with the black lines on page 10 and page 11 are related to that. And just simply showed the 2 high deductible HSA contribution plans for Plan C and Plan D. On page 17, that just shows the new salary range that you're getting ready to hear about when I get to page 20. New salary ranges in red there under A. And then if you go to page, if I missed page 19, it's just technical date changes. And when the public hearing was heard, the initial public hearing was held on 19. On page 20, we adjusted, through discussions with the MTA, we adjusted the base salary scale by $1,400. $1,400 is what our step is in between steps. This year we opted, then they agreed and opted to put it in the base salary, to raise that base salary up a little bit to make us more competitive among the area. So everybody will be getting a $1,400 increase in their base salary this year. And the language that you see in the red under Exhibit A just talks about the factors needed to get that $1,400 increase. Changes some dates so that it reflects the 24-25 salary schedule. And then it talks about teachers who are at the top of the pay scale receive a stipend of $1,400. And then the following pages, what changed, and it's actually not highlighted in red. On page 21 where it says base 41.7, our ECA schedules are based on row A salary schedule. So before that was 40,300. And so with the change in the base salary scale, it changes that ECA base rate to 41.7. Those are the changes. So the compensation change is $1,400 increase on the base salary, which will be retro, and then continue on through the end of the year for this 24-25 school year. Did I miss anything, Mr. Hooks?
When you say competitive, so can you speak a little bit more, like where do we fall? I mean, how do we compare? How competitive are we?
Yeah, right now we're toward the bottom of area schools.
For starting?
For starting, yeah.
Even with this?
I'm sorry?
Even uptick?
Yeah. I think we're ahead of one or two now with this. Of course, I don't know what their agreements are going to be this year, right? So a lot of them are going through that right now. Some are higher than 1,000, but obviously we have to be fiscally responsible to what we can do at this time. With the hopes of continuing to grow that over time. So
Some of them get specific referendums too, correct? For teacher pay?
I don't know about the local area schools, if any have operating referendums that do that, but there are schools that do that.
I know Homestead is one of them.
Do you know, just ballpark number where we're losing teachers just because they're jumping to another school because of pay?
Do they what?
Are they just jumping to another school, taking employment at another, just because of pay?
Historically, over my 31 years, I've done that a lot.
Yeah.
I think Manchester teachers are very committed to Manchester Community Schools as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that doesn't occur. Sometimes it's, I think it was last year, a teacher moved this year to MSD because that's where she grew up and that's where she lives and it's where her family, has influence and that's where she wanted to be. I don't know that was necessarily fiscally driven as much as just,
Gotcha.
sentimentally and time-wise driven, but I mean, we are within, we're within, I don't know, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but probably 4,000 of the top. Some are just a couple hundred above us. There is one or two that's a little bit below us right now. But there are also other intangibles. For example, the HSA, which is substantial. There's one other district, MSD does not offer it. North Miami offered it one time to get it started for employees. Wabash City does put it, but not to the level that their highest level for family is level for family at either HSA plan. So there are other things that benefit
Sure.
our employees that they have to consider when they're looking at the total package.
So Casey, I was on the negotiating committee for a couple of years. If I remember right, our step is quite a bit higher than others.
Some are 1,000, some are a little bit less than 1,000. It's 1,400.
Okay.
Where I came from, it was 1,000 before I came here. But we felt like one of the requests that the association had talked about was becoming a little more competitive, and that's when we talked about adding this to the base salary, to call that base salary, as opposed to giving everybody a step, right? Like instead of moving from like row A to Y, we put it in the salary schedule, so they still are getting the equivalent financially of what they would get if they got a step, but it's just makes it a little more attractive on our base salary schedule.
I'm glad to see the increase given where we were, and recently, kind of watching our finances. So I'm glad to give the increase, and the teachers do deserve it. And obviously, it probably fits in the budget. So I'm glad to see.
Yeah, I second that.
And we've already submitted the results of that plan. We submitted this morning to DUAB, so they know what's going on, because obviously they keep an eye on that, which we're glad they do. But no, it was good meetings and productive, and here we are. So, questions about it? Any comments, Mr. Hooks?
Well, first of all, just thank you to you, Dr. Stevens, for working hard to get done what we were hoping to get done. Thank you for that. The other thing that I would add to the salary discussion is because our steps are larger than many others, there becomes a point where it's over. So we attracting new talent. I don't know how much that impacts us, but I think it helps retain teachers that, past that point, they're earning more than that, more so. That's a great thing.
That's good to know.
Benefit for being here. Thanks to all of you. Spending public money is a good thing.
Just a quick question on page 21, the ECA. What are are those percentages? What are those?
Yes, they're percentages of. All right,
41 of the total.
It'd be base times that.
Gotcha.
Times that percentage.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
And I think it's Aaron, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's long been that way, that it's been a percentage of that base.
Okay.
Are those competitive as well? I mean, do we know?
I think they're very competitive.
Are they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're very competitive. Depending on the position, many are higher, or highest in the area.
Okay.
So we don't vote.
Nope, there's no vote. This is just to present the details of the tentative agreement. By state law, we have to do this. We had to post 72 hours for, which we did, have the meeting, discuss if there's any public comment, and then 72-hour notice to ratify. So this will be on the agenda, on the November 12th agenda, to approve the agreement. The MTA met Wednesday? Yeah, last week to ratify, for them to say, yes, we agree with the terms we came to. So their membership voted on that, not unanimously, but majority, yeah. So, and then that will go to the November 12th meeting for our approval, final approval.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Motion to adjourn? Adam?
Second?
Casey? All those in favor?
All right.
All right, have a good evening.
Thanks,
Just a
Tony.
reminder, the mics and video's on until Tony gets over there.
Thanks, Tony, for